Oh, he said he was on the way.
Hi, how are you? What a wonderful day it is.
There's some cookies here with a lot of flour on them.
You're interested in such things as tone, the tone of voice, the tone. You're interested in such things as setting or background, but you only need to give a few clues, and the worker is the reader is already at work. He stood on the wet street. Just the one word wet in there changed everything. He stood on the dry street, he stood on the windy street, he stood on the empty street, he stood on the lonely street. You know, he stood on the wet street. What's wet got to do with this? Already you're trying to get ahead of him. Where is he going with this? What has wet got to do with it? What has street got to do with it? Who is he? Now, if you are putting your initial sentences together in such a way, after a couple of paragraphs, you may have his attention, but that ain't enough. He'll allow you maybe 3 or 4 pages, 3 maybe. Now, if by the end of the 3rd page you have not compelled him to believe that you know something, you're going somewhere. This is only the beginning. This gets better as it goes along. And I'm going to save the very, very best for last. But now you're right in here. If you're interested here, you're going to want to go farther. If he's got you by that time. If not, you put this one down and you pick up another one and you see if this is a book or a story you want to read. Is it about some subject matter that interests you? Does it have characters in it who are of interest to you? Are they saying or doing or being provocative in any way possible? And what has this got to do with the point that you're trying to make, that you're carefully concealing, so that it will come upon them as a result of their reading the story, a surprise?
I'm working on a story idea I've been trying to tell people about to get their response to it, and I know I can make them cry with it because it can make me cry. And it has to do with this old growth forest, the tall trees, the old trees that are in these forests. Well, I read that up in Oregon, the snow began to fall, and it fell so long and so much that it covered up all the smaller trees, and before long was covering the larger trees. Now, the forest rangers came and got people from the forest and said, "You got to get out of here because it's closed down because it's piling up in the snow, God knows what." But this one guy decided he would stay there, and he's entitled to if he wants to, and he got out of it, and it would come down his smokestack and finally covered his smokestack to where he would have to in the morning climb up and clear the smokestack to be able to open it up so he could light a fire and get the smoke out of his house because it was so thick and his cabin was well under the snow. And then he said it started to happen. In the middle of the night, it would be like incoming artillery fire. And you hear this one big branch up there crack, bang, the weight of the snow on it, the pressure of it, and it would bust. And all night long were these, all through here. And when they woke up, and then when the snow receded, they found the younger saplings and the middle-sized trees had survived it, even though they were totally encased in snow. But that the really, really tall babies up there were all broken and all mangled and all of that. And this guy was just talking about this, and suddenly it came into focus in my brain, and I knew that was a killer story. Because what would these middle-sized trees think now? They've been protected. They've been taught how to grow old. Now they're going to have to face the next winter without the giants, you know. And I'm thinking of all of this from the anthropomorphic view of a forest that understands a hierarchy and recognizes the tragedy of this situation and the fear that is blowing through them. Kills me, breaks me right up. Okay, now, because I can do that to myself with just the thought of forest dying, and my ability with words and images to make the reader come to that state of mind to where he's willing to see it too, and knock him right out with it. That's where the art is. That's what it is that I've been trying to do all of my life with everything I've ever written, is first of all to show that I'm good at what I do. I don't know, I don't think I'm better than you are, you know. I have grandiose ideas of who I am and what I'm here for. And it's not just this, I mean, I'm at the beginning of it. There's years to come if I play my cards right. And I've got a hand in the game, and I can get people to return my calls. And I have grand ideas, and I have access to old friends.
We're going to cut there.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what writers
And
do.
as
They
I
bring
was
back
writing it, I was
great
thinking,
things
Yeah.
there you
and
go
give us
again,
new
George.
things we never experienced.
Well, if they're good writers, there's a lot of hack writers out there.
Have you finished the story?
I've got a good set of notes on it and a number,
Shit.
about 20 other really fine tales that are really
No,
full of
come on.
electricity. But, and I will finish them. one
Don't
day.
tell me these things.
I have a book of short stories I can't sell now. That's my problem.
To hell with that.
Yeah, I know, the hell with that.
We'll have to
Ray's
change
speaking his
that.
mind
Most of
now.
my stories, and quicker than the eye, didn't sell to anyone. Sasha didn't sell. Come on.
Sasha's beautiful. How about the woman on the lawn? Did you sell that?
Never sold.
Scary story.
Yeah.
You have such an ability.
Well,
to
come
do
on.
your trick.
Stop criticizing yourself.
I do. I do. She, that young lady in the red coat.
You
over
never
there,
believe anything I say.
This red coat is asking me for a story of 3,000 words, and I have several, and I wonder if they're good enough because I do not.
Shit! Stop talking that way.
Do you think I could stand on the same stage as a Robert Silverberg or a Harlan Ellison?
Who cares about them? Who cares about Harlan? Come on.
But these guys
Cut
are
it.
these
Stop
guys are
that.
giants.
Stop that. I won't listen to it.
So I guess if
You're good. And you keep cutting yourself off at the legs.
You really do charge me up, Ray, because you
Shit.
you
go
inspired
home.
me at the very
Listen,
beginning. to
next
make me
time I
believe
see
can
you,
do it.
if you don't send these things out, I'm going to kick your ass all the way down the block.
And I got
You
that
can't
on
argue with Ray
tape.
Bradbury. Would you argue with Ray Bradbury? I wouldn't.
He can have his way in any room.
Shit,
I
he's
live.
been doing that for years.
I wouldn't argue with him.
When they saw you on national TV, millions came to the site to look at your story that we put up. We need more material. We need more material. They're
I read
coming.
one of my stories out loud and gave it to this young lady free and said, just put it out on the internet.
Oh, to hell with that. You shouldn't be on the internet. That's a lot of crap. To
What?
hell with the internet.
You don't like the internet?
No. He belongs in magazines and books.
I get to sign my name once again. Immortality awaits. Hide this in a closet somewhere deep in the corner. One day in future generations, some unwary person will open it. What is this? He will cry.
No problem. She was awful.
she was in the original music fan. Those are mine. Greg?
Hi, Greg. Yeah.
Okay.